is the pandemic because we can't diagnose these conditions until it gets to a point where people have organ issues. This is the disaster we face medically, because if it takes an average of 5 years to get diagnosed, you'd start with a few allergies, and you think, oh, I'm reacting to this now, and then I'm reacting to that. And if you don't address it then, and if we don't get rid of the toxins in our environment, in our waters, in our sea, down there, if we don't get rid of those, we will end up, all of us, with these reactions. Our immune systems are overreacting to our environments because of this assault on our systems. So the way to counteract this is to eliminate these toxins, and particular heavy metals, aluminium being one of the key components here. We have aluminium in our foods, in our drink, and we are consuming this. And we need to find a way where we can stop this on a global scale, because the foods we import, etc. If anything, everyone should be buying local, everyone should be supporting British farmers, and we should make sure we clean up our environment, our earth and our seas. And so if you don't address the allergies at that point, they end up in a few years' time being an autoimmune condition like I've got. And if you don't address that, and it takes 5 years to get diagnosed, then you end up with a lot of issues and in a terrible state. So one of the drugs that's been really useful to me when I started with this, it took me 5 years to get diagnosed. That's why I'm passionate about it, because 5 years of struggling with ill health, and actually to the point where I had to give up driving because I was so dizzy, and driving and work because I couldn't cope. It wasn't a doctor, because I went to plenty of doctors until the point where they said, well, don't you think it's in your head? I'm like, no, I can't imagine this, because I was quite a, out there person. I enjoyed working. I was a journalist for the Evening Standard. I really enjoyed getting out there and socializing and having a life. I don't like this claustrophobic, way we're having to deal with now. So I got diagnosed. I was put on hydroxychloroquine, and that started me getting on the road to recovery. It's a great drug. When the BBC came along and told me that it was a dangerous drug, that the whole media said it was a very dangerous drug, I was like, no, I would not be on this drug, because I can't even take ibuprofen because I react to that. And I have anaphylactic shock to some painkillers that puts me in hospital. I know hydroxychloroquine is a pretty safe drug used for decades. So then I looked into this, because I thought, well, this is fake news. This is fake news. So I went on Twitter and I started tweeting. I was on Facebook and other things, but anyway, went on Twitter and then discovered that these other doctors, like Professor Didier Raoult and Dr. Zelenko, were saying, no, this works for curing COVID. Then we discovered a whole 60 studies. 60 studies since then, since March, 60 studies have been done globally that are all peer-reviewed, because if you remember, Fauci said, oh, unless it's a double randomized trial, then it's not valid. So we're not going to have any of this anecdotal stuff from the likes of me. That doesn't count. No, we have to have these things. Well, we've got them. We've got enough trials now, 60 peer-reviewed trials to say it works. And it works if you take it early with zinc. We could end this pandemic right now. So,
Trump uses it.
And Trump uses it. Probably Boris. And Bolsonaro. Anyway, that's from me. Now, who would like to come up, on any children, parents who want to come up here? We're going to have a rousing, because we're here in Portsmouth. This is the home of the Royal Navy, the home with the Navy, and we want to make sure that we, give them a big up, because it's their hometown, and we have the wonderful naval port down there where you've got HMS Victory, HMS Warrior, historic dockyards. This is a fantastic city with amazing heritage. We've fought quite a few wars. We should be proud of our heritage from this site. Boats that have left here in the Second World War to defend our freedoms. So, who's going to come up here and sing Royal Britannia? Because Royal Britannia is what the BBC wanted to ban. They didn't want it at the last night of the proms. So we're going to sing it now, because, quite frankly, the BBC are on a different trajectory to the rest of us. Okay, who wants to come? Any kids?